All right, welcome to Social Zombies: Rise of the Mobile Dead. So this presentation is starring myself. I'm Tom Eston. I'm the manager of Secure State's profiling and penetration team, co-host a podcast or two, a SANS mentor for his class.
Thanks.
Yep, you're welcome. I lead the OWASP Mobile Threat Model project and survivor of the last zombie apocalypse in Cleveland, Ohio, a couple years ago at Nauticon.
I'm Kevin Johnson, founder and senior consultant at Secure Ideas, consulting firm out of Florida. And open source bigot. I run 10 open source projects currently. You know that it's an addiction when you have to actually sit down and count your source forge pages to figure out how many you're running. I'm the author and primary instructors for 542, 642, and 571, which are the web app pen testing curriculum and the mobile security curriculum at SANS. And according to Tom, I'm a ninja. I'm not.
Did you see that picture? Look at that. He's like floating. Amazing. He also has big balls.
Yes, well, you know.
I can verify that.
So first, you know, we want to kind of talk about something that's happening here in the world today. Really involves very strange things happening. Something about a virus. Something really weird. Hey, sir, can you please sit down? We don't want any kind of trouble,
There's
sir.
in the front.
Sir, save questions till the end, sir. Sir, excuse me. Hey, goons.
We get some help. Some help.
Oh my God! As you can see, guys, we have some zombies here. These are zombies for charity. So we want to let you guys know that from 5 to 9 p.m. today, for between $10 and $15, whatever you can donate to Hackers for Charity, which we know is a fantastic organization, you can get made up like these guys and walk around the party tonight and assault people. It'd be really fun. So,
And it's a good way to support HFC, which we all love.
Yep.
And come on, who doesn't want to be a zombie for a little while?
Exactly. So, yeah. All right, zombies. Thanks a
Hey
lot.
guys, yep, have fun. Please believe me,
So, previously on Social Zombies. So, we've been doing these presentations for a couple of years now, since 2009. You know, your friends really wanted to eat your brains at DEF CON. That was our first presentation.
How many people made it to this talk that are here now?
Yeah.
Us, but other
Besides
than
us.
that, yeah. A couple
Okay.
people.
You know, we played some games. You know, Kevin and I pretended to be Rick Astley. He pretended to be Jessica Biel. He makes a beautiful.
I was going to
Jessica
say,
Biel.
don't I look like
Yeah.
Jessica Biel?
Yeah. You know, we sent out lots of links and people clicked on them, so we thank you very much.
Yeah.
You know, we also did some things around social network botnets, malware delivery.
We flew Robin Wood all the way from
Yes,
the
flew
UK.
Robin Wood across the pond and
Yeah.
developed a tool called Creo C2, which actually ended up being used by the bad guys.
Yeah, what about 2 weeks after the talk?
Yeah, a couple weeks after the talk. So, interesting things have happened just through this whole evolution of what we've seen with social networks. You gave this guy your personal data.
And I'm sorry, but
You
with
did.
that face, do you really trust them to give your stuff to them?
Yeah.
You guys beg to do it. Every time they do something with the site, people are bitching. Oh, well, they changed timeline, they did this, but you still sign up, you still give them the data.
And he's a rich man today, thanks to you guys.
Not his stock.
And us, yeah. MySpace still sucks.
Yeah, Tom is not my friend.
Yeah, I'm not Kevin's friend. Yeah, Tom is definitely not your friend.
Yeah.
But guess what, guys? Nothing has changed since 2009. Seriously, your friends are still bots?
Ed Skoda still
Yep.
won't accept my friend request.
Half of you guys won't accept my friend request. It sucks. Yeah.
Actually, all of them have accepted mine.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
true.
That's true.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Unless it's Jessica Biel.
Jessica Biel.
We still see malware being delivered by social networks. Your private data is still being harvested, actually more than ever before. And we're going to show you some examples later on in the presentation of what that really means. And of course, Zuckerberg's a millionaire. Your mom is still on Facebook. Anybody have any luck getting their parents off Facebook?
I just blocked her.
You blocked her?
blocked
Good.
her?
Excellent. Awesome.
And do you guys, you know, we both think that MySpace still sucks, But have you noticed lately, MySpace put that new splash page up that said, oh, hey guys, we're going to get better. Now this is after last year when they tweeted asking people to like them on Facebook. Which is yeah, MySpace, I thought MySpace was dead at that point, but they just recently put up a page saying, hey guys, we're back. We're coming, sign up here. And if you follow on Twitter, all of a sudden people are like, oh my gosh, do you see MySpace is so cool again? It's like, really, from that splash page, you've already started saliva coming because you want to give data to MySpace again.
So what happens when Justin Timberlake's involved now?
Yeah, there you go. He's bringing MySpace back.
And this is really frightening, guys. Charlie Miller and Moxie Marlin's like work for Twitter. I mean, what the hell has happened to the world, right? I mean, I actually heard one person say, I'm not clicking on any tweets from those guys. I mean, they're like the two most dangerous security researchers out there, and they work for Twitter now.
Anybody know why?
Money?
That really was a question. I don't have a joke to say after that. I really have no idea what the hell happened there.
They bought Moxie Marlin's spice.
Yeah, Whisper Systems.
Yeah. What is this Twitter doing with Marlin and that just
sounds
crazy. Now this one, I still don't get this one, right? Somebody posts another summer well wasted, right? And you know, now you can't see it real well. I guess the contrast is not there. But according to this, it was posted by a Glade air freshener. I thought it was bad when they released a refrigerator that would tweet what you had in it. Right? But a Glade air freshener, and of course somebody noticed it, right? I don't care, but how the F did you upload this from an air freshener? That's not a summer well wasted. That's a damn good summer.
Actually, it's a Facebook app. I have friends who post things from like the county jail and.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy.
So why has this all gotten worse? Well, really what we've seen over the years, and you guys have seen this too, is the rapid rise of mobile applications and platforms. I mean, it's absolutely crazy how we use mobile devices for everything. I mean, can you imagine not using Google Maps or the new Apple Maps?
Well, I imagine not using that one.
You know, yeah.
Told me yesterday I was in Norway.
Yeah, took you to Norway, and all you want to do is go to a restaurant.
Starbucks, come on.
Exactly. But it's truly amazing how we've evolved just in a couple of years, and can't live without this technology.
Well, except for the guy that left it in the bathroom.
Exactly. Right.
So
what we also find though is it's all this is still so new. We find that developers that are developing mobile apps, they just have not caught on to the issues with some of the security things and security problems and privacy issues that we find in these mobile applications. So like Kevin's mentioning here, is it 1999 again, 2008 all over again?
We see all these developers that have come out and they're the same developers that wrote the web apps. They're the same developers that wrote the thick applications and everything else like that. But it's like they forgot all the shit we've been telling them for years, and they're reproducing it again. And I test mobile apps, Tom tests mobile apps, and we look at them and it's just like, it's mean for us to be doing a pen test. You actually feel a little guilty for beating the crap out of the developer that badly because of the stuff, but then again, they deserve it.
Yeah.
They're right in it.
So I had to mention, are we still on bath salts here? Because anybody see that there's an account called Need a Debit Card on Twitter? That actually, it pulls all the tweets of people posting their debit card on Twitter. I mean, these are real pictures of full-on credit card data.
They're always
on
like,
Twitter.
Got my first credit card, it's great. And it's like, great, thanks, I got my next credit card. Yeah, and people, you actually watch the people, they'll retweet it.
Yeah.
Where their friend posts it, they're like, hey, look, Joe got his first credit card. It's like, damn, you hate your friend.
This goes back at ShmooCon. We talked about, remember Blippy.com that would post all your financial transactions to Twitter?
You bought.
Yeah, same thing.
And then, of course, there's idiots like this, right? Yeah. Here, I got my driver's license. I'm that cool. And
this is marijuana. This is a driver's license, and you can actually make out the name and the address right here. Hello, DEA? Anybody?
Just knock on the door and say, hey, I was on Twitter and noticed you had some. You're under arrest. Right. Let's go.
I mean, it is amazing what people post on Twitter.
We don't need undercover anymore.
And it's actually Instagram, too, so it's kind of, real cool.
Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Ruining pictures since 2010.
That's not a great.
So we have a big problem here. We have girls that are taking pictures of themselves and posting them up like zombies and things like that, but I want to talk about the duck face. All right?
The destruction of civilization.
Let's talk about the duck face. This is a major problem right now on the internet and social networks. I'm seeing girls do this everywhere. I mean, what the hell? What is this? Does anybody know? Can anybody tell me why girls do this with an iPad?
This one gets me, right? When the iPad first came out and everybody was like, oh, it doesn't have a camera, that's horrible. I said to everybody, who the hell would use it as a camera? Right? The damn thing's this big. Right? Well, her.
Exactly. I mean, you know, Abe Lincoln. What's going on?
I don't get it.
I didn't know he had an iPhone back then. This is weird.
That's why
you got cats doing it. I mean, you know, and Donald Duck.
This is what the one that gets me is, I want to ask just real quick question. How many people in the room actually think that look is attractive?
He's not working anymore.
Not his. Man, you looked at the wrong picture.
Right. The duck is crazy. So it kind of leads us to, you know, is privacy dead? I mean, everybody, you know, to ask that question every couple of years because all the things that we're doing. I mean, I watched a teenage girl a couple of weeks ago at the mall walk into a glass door because she was on her cell phone. She was oblivious.
Pause there. I watched a teenage girl.
Okay. At a mall. Thanks for clarifying.
Just saying.
Right. But
they don't even talk to each other, right? Just like
no.
couples. Matter of fact,
They're
we
all
actually
texting
talked
each
about
other.
just sitting here on our smartphones the entire
Yeah.
talk and see how long it took you guys to leave. But
But you know, but the other thing too is, do we really care as a society that we have become really zombies to our phones?
as a matter of fact, I think it's not just a do we care, but a lot of the people I talk to have actually encouraged it and are happy about the lack of privacy. And then of course they don't say it that way. They like the fact that the apps are telling them the things they want, that they're getting coupons. And if you can talk to people and say, if you give me your address, I'll give you a coupon. And people are running to do this. So it's not even just, do we still care? We do, but we like it. And that's the part that freaks me out.
But as a pen tester, so we get to do all kinds of cool stuff with mobile devices. Well, they obviously provide us with lots of data. That's really important. Also, new attack vectors. You know, stealing the CEO's iPad that has all the merger and acquisition information for corporate spies, everything else.
Yeah, BYOD has
Yep.
done more for pen testing than any other movement in the mobile space, right? Let's let your employees bring whatever device they want. We won't lock it down. We won't control it because they want to play Angry Birds. And put it on the network, demand extra access. I'll tell you right now, as a pen tester, please, more. Right? Do this, right? What we're hoping is that you take all the stuff we talk about here and encourage it in your offices, because it will make our jobs easier, and we're lazy. That's why we became Red Team members.
So we're going to go into some of the new security concerns that we've seen with some of this new technology. So Android Jelly Bean, how many of you guys are using the latest Android? A couple of you? Okay. You familiar with the face unlock feature? So this has always been kind of an issue when it first came out, but now they've got that liveliness check, so it actually is a checkbox which will actually try to determine if you're a human or not, so you can't put a photo up anymore.
Except
There's now ways around that with, you know, Photoshop and other things, and then waving the picture really fast in front of the screen to get around that. So please, please, please do not rely on this as a security control for your phones, and of course policies, things from.
Please
Well,
rely
please
on
do
this as a
pen tester, right? But
when you're breaking into an office with permission and you walk up and there's phones on the desk, just hold it up to the family picture on the desk and it unlocks. Thanks. And you walk away.
Google Now, so these are these cards. If you have like a Nexus 7, you can actually swipe up, and Google will now try to determine where your location is and your path to work, to and from work. And it'll pull up a little card that says, your commute to work is 43 minutes. And you can click on it and go through Google Maps and see the traffic and all things like that. This is more of that self-aware technology that we're seeing in our devices. We're going to talk a little bit more about that with an iOS, specifically Passbook, and some of the other types of geo-fencing technology that we talked about several years ago, and now it's all being developed in our devices and we're using it now every day.
Yeah. the thing we love is the fact that as we talk about these things over time, you guys just keep implementing more of it, right? You guys just keep doing it.
NFC. So it really is like having unprotected sex with another device. That's kind of how we classify it.
Yeah, it works.
It,
you know?
it really is.
So does that make malware an STD?
Good. Yes, it is a virus. Near field communication. So this is short range communication now, two-way short range communication now built into devices. It's really designed for an ease of use. Google kind of calls it tapping your device with another device to transfer contact information, links, you know, beef hooks, all kinds of other things that you might want another device to load up and, you know, harvest.
By the way, this was a DARPA CFT sponsored project.
Yeah.
Charlie's work that he released.
Yeah, Charlie Miller at Black Hat USA this year actually did a really great talk on his research with NFC. And we're going to talk about today here just some of the things that you can do from a pen tester perspective with NFC. So one of the things that we threw together at Secure State was we wanted to find out, okay, if I can get close enough to an NFC-enabled device, what could I do to that device? And everybody's familiar here with Beef, the awesome Beef framework. Hopefully you guys as pen testers are using that. Well, Beef allows us to basically set up an attack where I can actually push things to the device and then I can conduct an attack. This is really great for physical, social engineering, and different types of attacks like that. So I'm going to show you here, this is a demo showing you on the left here we have a Google device. This is a Galaxy Nexus, and then here is our Beef server. So what we're simulating here is my malicious device tapping your device and seeing what happens. So I'm going to instantly send you a link. And there's nothing on your end that happens.
No pop-up saying, is this okay?
There's no pop-up, no nothing like that. So I could literally send you this beef hook, which will then allow me to steal your cookies, redirect you to a malicious site, and lots of other things, you know, whatever you can think of with the beef framework. So it's pretty dangerous. So here what we do here is we do some cookie harvesting. I know you really can't see it here with the resolution. Then we do an attack where we redirect the user to a site of our choosing.
And I do want to point out that the browsers in your mobile devices are becoming so complex and so feature-rich that the majority of the Beef modules will work on the mobile browsers. And my experience is that BlackBerry, I know that like 3 people still run it, but BlackBerry supports the most out of that list.
And no one wants Rick Astley on their phone. So.
Why not?
Yeah. So specifically to Android, though, I wanted to quickly talk about their documentation. So Kevin has a long history of tearing apart developers through their documentation. Adobe.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Flash.
I always find that looking at the documentation really shows you the mindset of what they're building things with, right? If this is what they're telling you, what does that say? And like Tom mentioned, with Adobe it says we smoke crack, but I'm not so sure Google doesn't either, right? So.
Yeah, so they've designed this obviously to be as open and have very little authorization as possible because they want it for ease of use, right?
Which should scare the crap out of everybody here who has an NFC-enabled device. Thank you, Apple.
Yep, exactly. And now we even have business cards. Moo just announced that they're going to have NFC-enabled business cards. So think of all of the attack possibilities now that I can embed in this.
If you read Moo's press releases and stuff like that, they actually talk about the fact that you have a business card, you hand it to a person, their phone automatically plays that video. Never going to give you. They go to a link, they launch an application, whatever. And I immediately thought, I normally keep my phone in my pocket, right? How many of you guys just hide your phone because we don't want the cool belt clip thing? But you got it in your pocket, somebody hands you a business card, just slide it in the same pocket. There's no thought. There's no, oh wait, I wonder if this business card's gonna own me, right? That just doesn't pop it in, your phone is now, well, mine. Right? I will tell you that I will be one of the first people ordering these cards. I've already got a script refreshing the whole page just to be ready.
Did you ever think in a million years you would say say those words, this business card going to own me?
Oh God, I hope so. I sit up at night thinking, oh my gosh, which next thing could we get to be malicious, right? His hat. That's what I'm going for next, right? It's on my hacker bucket list.
All right, there we go. Nice hat.
So, and then we've got, okay, that's throwing me off. Little wobbly today. You know, and then, so we pick on Google and Android for a while, and the Apple fanboy in me decides I need to pick on Apple, right? You know, Steve's gone, sad, moment of silence. But they released iOS 6. And it's like, let's integrate with social networks, because there isn't enough ways we've abused your privacy yet. So we're going to add it to the base operating system on the device. And they've got integrations. We've got Facebook, where anywhere you go, you can go tap, tap, tap. I've posted messages to Facebook. Twitter has been there since iOS 5 with no issues. And we just start adding this stuff, and the ability to accidentally post stuff. The ability to just rapidly say, hey, this is what's here. And when we start looking at organizations that have limited access to social networks, but support BYOD, right? Or even if they don't support BYOD, look at, Yahoo just announced no Blackberries, and iPhones were one of the phones they supported for their staff. So now all of a sudden you've got this built in to the operating system. It's just there. And the more and more of those integrations we get, the more dangerous it is to hide these. Then we've got Passbook. How many people here played around with Passbook yet? How many of you are excited about the fact that as you walk into an airport, because of the geo-fencing, right, that idea of I know where you are, and if you're within this fenced area, I'm going to do this action. So we're going to get the pop-up that here's your QR code to check in at the airport. Here's your TSA Freedom Group ticket. Here is your whatever you want, right? I am waiting for the TSA Passbook app. We walk into Target, and we're not going to pick on Target. Well, we're going to pick on Target. I mean, they named themselves after something you shoot at, and made it their logo. But you run the Target app, and it's integrated right with Passbook. You walk into a Target, and your phone knows where you are and is constantly polling that, and they pop up a coupon, right? And the majority of people that you'll talk to will be like, dude, that's great. I got 5% off Depends, but because you walked in. Now, of course, because it's got all the information about you, hopefully it's going to give you a coupon that's useful, right, based on what you're doing and everything else, which I understand is for Depends, but, whatever. And that just pops up on the lock screen. You don't even have to unlock the phone to get that coupon. That should freak the crap out of you.
I think the next version is actually going to tell you what aisle to go down. Nope, you're almost at the aisle. Yep. You make a left and then go right, you'll be there. Oh, you're not quite there yet. And it'll keep talking back to you.
I'm waiting for the Target.
Maps at where
that will show up at Walmart. But, So, do you guys see the Mars Curiosity? The tweet they posted that said they upgraded me to iOS 6 today. I'm in Norway. That was the best one, right? But I'm waiting to see the Target app for employees that it'll tie together, so my phone will tell me where the closest employee is to ask a question from, because they're tracking. And then we start seeing these friend location, find my friend. Hey, I want to know where Joe is or Sue is or whatever, and the ability to track exactly where your friends are, and to encourage that sharing. Right? That's the big deal. These systems are encouraging us to do those connections, and every single one of those connections provides information. So I'm sitting there, I've connected with James, and James has his profile and everything else like that. I've got my profile, and now Target knows, well, if these two people know each other and they do this and this, hey, Kevin just bought a whole bunch of ribs and charcoal and everything else like that, and James just bought a whole bunch of soda and beer. I bet you there's a cookout going on at Kevin's house, and let's let Tom know. Right? If he might want to go. all built into this stuff.
Yeah, so this is that Find My Friends app that's part of iOS 6 now. It's kind of hidden, you know.
Yeah.
Apple doesn't really talk much about it. But what it's designed to do is it's there to alert you when your friends enter in a certain type of geolocation. So for example, I could find out if my guys on my pen test team are coming into work or not. So I can have it alert me that,
You guys
hey,
better be watching that, right?
Brandon Knight is now at work. I could do things like that with this
Or
app.
you could track your spouse, right?
Track your
where
spouse,
they go,
ex-girlfriend, you know,
whatever. How many people go to their ex-girlfriend's Facebook page? Admit it, you know you do. Yeah. And then we've got Mountain Lion. Thank you, right? It's all we gotta say to Apple is thank you, because they're now taking iOS and putting it on the desktop. I know that's not what they call it, but Mountain Lion has started to become more and more iOS-ish. Is that a real word?
It is
And
now.
it is now, right? They've added the same integrations, but on a wider scale, to the desktop OS. Now, by default, when you install 10.8.2, it turns on sharing. Now, the sharing it does is partial. So you get you right-click on something, you say share with Twitter, share with Facebook, and things like that. You have to go in and actually turn on some of the more advanced ones. But bless you, it will actually take your address book, upload it to Facebook, and do a match on all of your contacts. Take their profile pics, put them as the contact picture in your contacts item, everything. Now, nobody really talks about what Facebook does with that address information. And I'll bet you that there are many of you like me that use the address book for notes about people, right? Where you met them, what they were doing, what their relationship is with you. I actually use the contacts to store my FedEx account and my UPS account, because I always have my phone when I go to the store to ship stuff, right? So that was uploaded to Facebook. That's great. And I will also point out the fact that some people's profile pics are not what you want to have pop up on your phone when they call you. Like the first time, I turned it on to test it and do some stuff like that. About 20 minutes later, somebody called me, and I looked like, ah! Scared the piss out of me, right? But all of this stuff is available, right? You've got, now here's an example. This is my contact information. Now they immediately pulled in my Facebook name. They actually changed my contact entry with a different name. Because I used to have a different last name, so on Facebook I've got it as a middle name, just so people can find me from a long time ago, right? Put my CNN hacker picture on there. This is all just stuff that's not what I wanted, right? I didn't ask for that, but and it makes it so nice. Hey, how would you like to share with, connect to Facebook so you can tweet automatically and post automatically? And people just click yes, that's all it takes, right?
So which kind of leads us into mobile app security. So we mentioned earlier that mobile apps is kind of the new frontier. We're really living back in a world of 1999 again with our developers.
Strange to call it a new frontier
New
and then
but old.
but old.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to talk about a couple issues that we see common across a lot of mobile applications. And first is really OAuth and API keys. We find this a lot. Do you guys remember about a month or two ago, there was a guy who discovered a vulnerability in the Facebook application where you could take the plist file and you could drop that onto another device and you can log in as that user. So what Facebook was doing was storing the OAuth tokens, which includes the secret key. As we all know, we're not supposed to be storing those things locally, right? But you can move that off to another device and then actually log in as that. Dropbox had this problem. Password managers have this problem. LinkedIn had it. It goes on and on. We see this all the time. Poor implementations of OAuth.
Your statement of we all know they shouldn't do this is obviously wrong because
Yes.
they didn't know it.
They didn't. You're right.
Yeah.
Also API keys. We see issues with that as well. And of course, API keys can give you access to lots of information. So here's a screenshot of what the Facebook session tokens look like with your OAuth secret right
His
here.
Facebook session, just so you know. I wasn't.
Yeah, blanked out. Well, also, poor authorization and authentication. So we took a look at about 20 of the top mobile apps that we're able to download. One of them is the CNN mobile app. And so I found a vulnerability in which the GET request for the comment system, the API key is never GET request. And so if you're familiar with Discuss, which is it's another third-party API, third-party component, what happens is this API key, after I've done some research on their site, allows you to delete, update, and modify comments on the entire CNN website.
I gotta say that we should have known they wouldn't be very good at security since they don't know how to spell the word discuss.
They hired the Evite.
They hired the Evite guys, exactly.
So, you know, goes to show, again, very simple things that don't get overlooked because people don't think they'll be poking around with a web proxy on the mobile app.
There's this assumption that the client is secure because I'm just clicking on it and everything else, and I won't know how to intercept that. And the developer typically is writing both sides, both the back end and the front end. And there's this thought of, well, I trust that code, it's mine. Which, right there, you're wrong. But, you know.
So,
Facebook.
Facebook, yay. 900 million users now on Facebook, and of course 10% of those are bots. There was actually some research that came out about a month ago that showed that 10% are fake accounts or bots.
How many are Kevin's?
About 4% of those. Currently, I have just over 5,200 accounts on Facebook. So.
But we've also seen from a privacy aspect, things change over time with Facebook. So TechCrunch did a great article showing how those requests for permission boxes when you install an application in Facebook have changed over the years. It used to be very prominent, right, that this application is going to post on my behalf. Do you want to allow it or don't allow it? This is Angry Birds.
And I want to point out that even with as prominent as this is, even as much as this says, hey, this could be bad, are you sure? About 125% of the users would click yes. Right? Some of them would double click is what happened there with the percentage.
Right. But with the new design, what they've done is they've, in very small text here in the corner, this app may do these certain things, but really we just want you to play the game. That's all you're here to do anyway. Old design here with choices, so allow, don't allow. The new design, play game. Very clear.
And this is something that the vendors and the people building the apps have requested. And let's be blunt, right? From a business perspective, Facebook is going in the right direction. Do we do the protection of privacy that the users who pay us nothing want, or do we allow the people who pay us and build our system to get a little bit more click-through rate, right?
Which also leads to mobile data exposure. So who's familiar with UDID in iOS? This is a big privacy problem.
Yeah.
So this is a unique device identifier on your device. Think of it like a MAC address where it's supposed to be unique.
And anonymous.
And anonymous.
It's not supposed to tie directly, publicly to a single person, right?
Right. The issue here is that there's been research done that unfortunately a lot of app developers are tying the UDID to actually logins and things like that. So what happens if you sell your device and someone installs that same application, they're automatically logged in as you. Very big issues with this, and there's also other research done where that UDID is tied to user ID and other
search queries,
buying habits, lots of different things. So that's where you...
Which I want to tie right back into that whole geofencing idea. If we're tying the UDID to your buying habits and everything like that, now as you walk into that Target, there's specific items that are being handed back to you.
Yep.
Right?
So that's if you want to see it yourself on an iPad, for example, or an iPhone. You just go into iTunes, or a config utility, and you can actually see that in there for yourself.
No, this is with newer versions, because it used to be
Correct.
that the UDID was hidden. You had to install an app to show you the UDID of your phone.
Right. And of course, Apple has come out and said, okay guys, you can't use UDID anymore, and we're going to start banning apps in the App Store because of the privacy concerns.
And I want to say that we need to stress the word said.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
They've said they're going to reject them. They've said they're going to ban them. They've said, please don't use them.
Yeah, this was on March 24th that Apple actually came out and made an announcement about this. And so we actually did some research just in the last couple of weeks, and we wanted to see how Apple was doing with that. And we'll talk about that here in a second. So anybody remember this? Anonymous said that they exposed 1 million UDIDs from the FBI.
Hacked the FBI.
Hacked the FBI, right? And of course, that wasn't really true. They actually hacked a third-party company, which was collecting this data legitimately from the application.
We use the word legitimately there loosely, right?
We do.
Now,
it's very loose.
did you guys see the article where the guy posted that he found Obama's iPad in this list? Now, I'm not sure if it was really the Obama we're all assuming, but I will say that the last app he played was a fishing game. So it wasn't golfing, so I'm not thinking it's the right guy. Just a thought. Yeah. I also want to point out, did you guys see right after that one, did you see the really cool anonymous attack where they hacked that company and got every possible PIN number for ATM cards? I love there was an entire mailing list I was on, there was an entire thread where people were like, oh my gosh, which company did they get? And it's like, no, you moron. Of 1,000 numbers. That's it. Ah, my pin's on there.
So in the top 20 apps or so that we looked at, Draw Something, Words with Friends, Redbox, United Airlines, Pinterest, Flipboard, and Calculator.
Why is that a top
Calculator
app?
using UDID?
And why is it a top app?
Yeah, and why is it?
I'm just saying.
Yeah. You have a calculator on your phone. Why do you need another one? Okay,
it's better.
Yeah. The big issue that we've seen with all these, and we looked at all the network traffic and everything, they're all going to third-party services, like Flurry.com.
Yeah, this is just one of the examples, right? With Omniture, other analytics organizations, there's this huge amount of, let me send data out to these organizations, where we're actually finding that many of these apps will do 5, 10, 20 different analytics companies at the same time.
Yeah, like Draw Something connects to like 5 different ad and marketing companies while you use the app and sends you UDID information.
How many people use Draw Something?
Yeah, well, just Kevin. So.
Yeah.
So here's an example. This is Pinterest actually sending information to Flurry, which is that ad marketing company. There is your UDID, my username, location, whether I'm logged in, logged out, device model. I mean, that's a lot of information. That can be correlated and cataloged over time.
Especially since this starts to breach the division between apps, right? This app uses Flurry, this app uses Flurry, and this app uses Flurry. All 3 of them are sending the UDID, and we can track usage, which I will tell you, with my daughters playing on my phone, Flurry thinks I love Tinkerbell and Monster High, right?
Don't blame it on
Okay, it might have been me.
And for the record, I don't use Pinterest, so I was just testing it.
So he says, right?
Redbox, another example here, sending your UDID and GET request.
But it's URL encrypted, so it's okay.
Oh, that's right.
URL encrypted.
That's right. Yeah, got it. And then back to the CNN mobile app again. So something you look for as a pen tester, you want to see what the app gives you back, right? So you'll send requests and you'll look at the responses. Well, what if you wanted to post comments anonymously on CNN, right? So you could read some of these comments. They get pretty heated, right? Political battles.
Some of them are fun.
And some of them are fun. Some people claim to be anonymous and they're going to hack your site. Things like that.
How many people notice all the people on Facebook with the Guy Fawkes mask as their profile picture, with next to their real name? Do they not understand the meaning of the word anonymous? I just,
But I discovered something interesting in the request, that it actually leaks everybody's email and IP address in the JSON response that comes back from the server.
This is a perfect example of the client lying,
yes.
right? Because the client displays this anonymous list of comments, yet the data is coming back right to that application.
This is this is a troller's wet dream right here. This is incredible amount. I can now attack them through their IP.
I'm not sure I want the image in my head, troller's wet dream.
Really?
Thanks.
You're welcome. And then of course there's the IP address in there.
So the next time somebody really pisses you off on CNN, you know where they're connected, right? If we follow that Tracer T guy, we know exactly who they are.
To be fair, when I found this, I did report this to Turner Broadcasting, but I haven't heard anything since then. So who knows, it went to a black hole or whatever. But
they're filtering you.
Yeah, of course. And the privacy statement says interesting things like, we will not post your email address.
Or your IP.
Or email that says email address will not be shown. But that's a big problem.
But it's true, they're not lying.
Yeah.
It wasn't shown.
Yeah, exactly. So we kind of took a deeper dive into privacy policies because this is always fascinating to me. You know, when you go to a regular website, sometimes you see the, click here to view our privacy policy, and of course, the first line is, we take the privacy and security of your data very seriously.
We use HTTPS.
Yes, we use the lock. The lock will protect you, right? But what's interesting is we did a breakdown. The privacy officer at Secure State actually went through very popular sites like Facebook, Google, Instagram, LinkedIn, Yelp, and looked at how many words are in these privacy policies. Facebook's privacy policy is 8,780 words. Who's going to read that? That is absolutely a lot to read. Does anybody actually read the privacy policies of the sites you visit? A few of you?
If you're having trouble sleeping tonight in the hotel, right? Out like a light.
And then what else is interesting is all these sites collect location data, PPI, device data, and they share information with third parties. The only site that is actually opt-in is Google.
That's it.
That's it.
But Google Wallet isn't. Right?
Yeah. So again, for the normal user, it's very painful to read, and really you have no idea what's being captured, but people just want to play Angry Birds.
It's got secure data storage where the apps are just stored on a local
this
machine.
is Password Keeper Lite. And of course, Password Keeper Lite stores your password in clear text. That's great.
But it's in a SQLite database.
But yeah, it's on the phone, so no one can ever read that.
You have to upgrade for the base 64.
Yes, upgrade for the base 64, right. Brewster, has anybody heard of this application? Yeah, Brewster is an app that actually combines all of your data from Facebook, your friends from Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, contacts, your address book, and it uploads all that to a server and correlates that, and now you have a giant contact list book by picture that you can sort through on a mobile app. Well, unfortunately, they hard code the production username and password to access all of that data in the phone or in the config file.
I don't think that's unfortunate at all. It makes the interface much easier to use.
It does, exactly. So contact list harvesting, so there's more applications that are asking for access to your contact list to do things like, find if your friend is using Yelp or whatever application.
And until iOS 6, iOS didn't even ask. It just allowed the app to do it.
Right. That has been fixed, which is a good thing. But here is Yelp. They've come up with a little creative thing. To find friends, we need to upload your contacts to Yelp. But don't worry, we're not storing them.
Don't you feel better when your mobile app says "Don't worry"?
Yeah. I'm just saying.
I feel better. Just read it.
I feel better. Right. Exactly. And there's Brewster here. Taking all that information, correlating it. This is kind of the new form of applications that we're seeing. Is just mass data collection and parsing that data and making it more usable for the end user. Because everybody has contacts all over the place.
I like this guy pensively staring off into space.
There was an issue with a Trojan in the Apple iOS store. I wouldn't say it was a Trojan. It was just an app that harvested your contact list and then sent your friends SMS spam.
This was this one bothers me because this one is where Kaspersky and all the big vendors are like, malware on iOS, they're just like Android. This wasn't malware. The app told you exactly what it was doing. It didn't hide it, right? This is not a case where the app said, hey, you want to play Angry Birds? And then secretly uploaded the data. It said to you, I'm going to reach out to your friends. Is that okay? Yes, it's okay. Oh shit, it SMS'd all my friends. I hate that app, right? Couldn't be because I clicked shit.
Facebook Timeline, another example of correlating location data all together into one easy to find area with a map now. Everything is mapped out for you.
This is one of the reasons why you've never heard Tom or I complain about the new timeline system, unlike every other Facebook user, right?
Instagram now has this called Photo Maps. So these are how the apps are designed. They want to take all of that location data, correlate for you, so you can find pictures literally going back years or months. This is great for an attacker or a stalker or anybody else.
Yeah, I want more information about your organization, yourself, everything else. It's right there.
So what does the future look like? It's pretty scary, to be honest.
Fun.
So anybody hear of this thing called face deals? Yeah,
I've got it down the street from me, 3 blocks.
Are you from Nashville?
Yep.
Yep, exactly. This is a company in Nashville actually did this. This is a camera that if you install their Facebook application, will scan your face, and then when you go to the bar at the restaurant, you'll get a notification with a 5% coupon or whatever.
It's
But
constantly scanned.
guess what this is doing? This is scanning everybody's face that's walking into the building.
Right. You know, we looked at this in Minority Report. Right?
Yeah.
And it was
Who's
like,
seen
oh
Minority
my
Report,
gosh,
right?
the government's
Yeah.
going to be watching us, everything. And people freaked out. People were like against it. No way, I'm not letting the government do it. But if Facebook does it, damn, that's wonderful. That's a great idea. You attach a coupon and there'll be a damn TV show about enabling it, right?
Yeah,
We're
Minority
begging for
Report.
it.
You'll be walking through the mall one day, and your retinas are going to get scanned, and like, how'd you like those shorts you bought the other
And
day?
I'm sure none of Zuckerberg's millions of dollars go to lobbying companies. So
No, of course not. No, of course not.
to Facebook.
They don't have a DC
Yep.
branch office or anything.
Yeah.
You do not want that technology. So to conclude, like we said, not much has changed over the years. It has advanced.
I would say it
and-
has changed. It's gotten even worse.
It has advanced.
Yeah.
We definitely predict in the next couple of years going to be a big push for privacy policies. We're going to be seeing the government getting involved if they're not already.
And the question is, who's enforcing those privacy policies? If nobody's even reading them, how do you know when they're violating them? The CNN app is the perfect example, right?
Yeah.
You trusted that they wouldn't do that.
Yeah, which really leads to the point here is you're responsible for your own data. Do not rely on other companies to enforce rules and regulations, or even the government to protect your private information. You have to be responsible for that.
And stop bitching when you click my links. You know?
So we're going to leave you with the bagel face today.
We're not sure what this is.
So this came up last night. We were kind of reviewing the slides.
Thank you, Brent.
Yeah, and Brent is like, have you heard of the bagel face? Because you're going to talk about duck face. But so in Japan, apparently people are Botoxing their foreheads to look like a bagel.
Saline.
For saline or Botox, right? Yeah.
Why?
It looks like
Bagels are attractive.
It looks awesome.
That's attractive. Yeah. So
Yeah, we're not sure.
we're not sure, but we just
I
thought
have a
it would
bobby
be,
pillow, so don't mind.
You have a what?
I have a bobby pillow right here, so don't
You have a
mind.
bobby pillow. Nice, nice. So, any questions? Well, that was easy.
What's the difference between like the IMEI and the UDID? Are they pretty much interchangeable?
They're spelled different. So the question is between IMEI and UDID.
No, I mean,
helpful.
no, because we've recently started watching IMEI leave our network, and it's it's like to the point that I'm like, everything takes that.
Yeah.
Everything. It's just,
In my
I can't
opinion-
even do anything with it. There's so much data.
My opinion is that the reason you're seeing so many apps grabbing the IMEI is because of the threat to block apps that take the UDID. That's a guess, but it's,
and there's new things coming out like Open UDID that do more of a more non-hardware based identification now that developers are using,
Well,
but it's not as popular.
I'm not sure about this, but I've read some stuff where they're basically like, well, the developers say, well, we need that in order to.
yeah, they also need administrative rights to their desktop. I'm just saying, the minute developer says, I need this.
They're not given a good, unique identifier.
Why don't they
for the
create one of their
phone.
own?
Well, that's.
Right?
Why isn't that in the SDK or the
The
APIs then?
The SDKs have the ability for them to generate their own unique ID if they wanted to, right? It's just programming.
But it takes the work.
I know,
You're right.
it's
It's
extra work.
extra work.
You're
It's
absolutely right.
laziness. It's UDID or whatever is available to them, and it's easy to query. There's no.
Yeah.
Why would someone
Cost
go?
assessment. Why
Yeah.
would we spend money on that?
Right.
Why would we develop cycles to that when I already
Right.
have the solution here and it doesn't mean anything?
Exactly.
It's a security office doing that, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So if you, I was intrigued by the CNN example. Have you ever turned anybody like that into the Federal Trade Commission? Because if you have a privacy policy and you're doing business across state lines and you're violating your
Yeah.
privacy policy, they can and will do something about it.
But are they violating the privacy? They say they won't show the email address.
If you saw the email and they said that you shouldn't see the email, that's a violation of their privacy.
All I'm saying is, did they show it?
They sent the data.
I can see the lawyer argument. Just saying, I can
It
see
came from their servers.
Yeah,
So
I think they're in violation.
But yeah, I did send it to. There is a privacy privacy at Turner.com. I
Okay.
sent it to them, but I haven't heard. anything. I mean,
Because
you
I
know how
just
this
personally
goes.
believe that the companies won't do anything. They have to get a call from an FTC commissioner, and then they'll start actually taking
I
it
agree.
seriously.
And that
Until
may
there's
be
a penalty.
what happens. Yeah.
Until there's a
If you send it to
negative.
your abuse line a lot of times,
Yeah.
you'll get more results because nobody wants to be tagged with abuse.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much.